Hello everyone and welcome to my big spring clean 2024. First of all, I'm going to show you a haul of all the products I'm going to be using this week. Okay, so we'll start at the front, and I have got some gloves, just little disposable gloves, really good for when I'm getting down into the nitty gritty dirty places like behind the sofa, the oven, things like that. Just got a nice little pack of throwaway gloves. Some Dishmatic refills, both for the one that I use downstairs and for this one here that are going to be used purely for cleaning. I will make a little label for this or write on it in Sharpie just so everyone knows that this one's just for cleaning. It's particularly good for like skirting boards, for tiles, things like that. Really useful to have one of these for in the cleaning box. So I've got that and some refills. Then for the toilet, I've got some more wipes. These ones are the Flash ones in the Cherry Blossom scent. I really wanted everything to be in either like a clean linen cotton scent or a sort of blossomy spring scent. But the shops were not playing the game, so I've got all different scents unfortunately. But these are really good for cleaning the toilet and not having to worry about germs getting onto other things, because these can just go straight into the bin. So some of those. I've got a hanging dehumidifier for the wardrobe. Obviously, as you guys know by now, we have issues with damp in the house, and to have these in the wardrobe, you will not believe how much moisture these things collect. In our bedroom, we have a dehumidifier running 24/7, and still these things will fill up in about a week. It's ridiculous, but I always have these hanging up in the wardrobe, so I've got a new one of those. Have some new tumble dryer sheets in the Summer Breeze scent. These obviously are really good in the tumble dryer, but they're also really good for dusting. So if you're looking for something else to dust with, tumble dryer sheets, really, really good. I have some Pink Stuff foaming toilet cleaner. This is the best one that I found. This really gives you that satisfying foaming look. Some of the other ones just sit there and sort of fizz a little bit. This one goes crazy, love it. So I've got some of that. I've got some Pink Stuff cream cleaner. This I've heard a lot about, but I haven't actually used yet. So excited to use this in some areas of the house. So yep, got some of that. Got a refill, fresh linen refill for the Febreze Freevolution. At the moment it's still got Christmas scent in it, so it'd be nice to have a nice fresh scent in it. Fresh linen just sounded perfect to me, and I had a little sniff of it. Lovely. So that's going to go in as well once all the cleaning's done and we're doing the finishing touches. I've got some more Zoflora in the Lemon Zing scent. This smells really nice and fresh, good for wiping down doors, handles, all that kind of thing. I use it in most places in the kitchen. You can also throw it in the mop bucket with some hot water, and it just makes the whole house smell really lovely. So I've got a nice big bottle of that. Got some elbow grease oven cleaner. This is the first time I'll be using the elbow grease one. Usually I use the Oven Pride one, but they didn't have that in stock today. I guess everyone's spring cleaning. So I thought I would pick up the elbow grease one and give that a go. Our oven, oh, I hate our oven. I hate cleaning it so much. It's one of those ovens that you can't take the side shelves off. So it's really, really difficult to clean in there. So I'm going to give this one a go this time around. I have some white vinegar spray, mainly for cleaning glass, steel, windows, that kind of thing, mirrors, really good for that white vinegar spray. I have some carpet mousse for after I have shampooed and cleaned the carpets. This is the pet one. I do have a little Finch called George. He's the sweetest thing in the world. He's not bothered by chemicals. He's already 10 years old, which is I think 3 years older than they're supposed to get. So it's obviously not affecting him adversely, but I really just liked the scent. The Thai orchid and passion fruit sounds so nice. So I picked up the pet one, even though he doesn't really respond to any of the cleaning products anyway. I have some crease releaser in the scent Spring Awakening. Now I'm pretty sure that all this is watered down fabric softener in a spray bottle, pretty sure. But I figured I'd pick up some anyway because I'm going to be washing the curtains and doing all the bedding and things like that, and it would be nice to not then have to iron all of that. So if I can hang the curtains, spray some of this on it, and the creases will fall out, that will be wonderful to me. But if I do find that it's just fabric softener with water, I will refill this and just keep it on hand for future reference, because this is quite expensive really for what it is. So I've got some of that. I have some Dettol washing machine cleaner in the scent Lemon Breeze. It's always nice to have a lemon scent in the kitchen, I find, when you're cleaning things. So it's just a single use, but that's okay. We'll do a deep clean on the washing machine and give it a really good go through with this. I finally picked up one of these damp dusters. I've been looking at them and trying to think, like, is it worth it? Is it really any good? But I think it was like £2 or something in Asda. It was really, really cheap, and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to grab it, give it a go, see how it does. So, damp duster. This is one of my go-tos. Always have this on hand. This is elbow grease spray. It smells really nice, and it's so good at degreasing. You can also use it on fabrics, which is really nice. If you get any kind of oil spills on your top, on your coat, whatever, you can use this on it, and it's really, really good. It really is amazing for, you know, when you clean on the top of the kitchen cupboards and they're all kind of greasy. Really, really good for that. This stuff is amazing. It's cheap. I always have this on hand. I had run out and wasn't able to get it for a couple of weeks. I guess, like I say, everyone's getting spring clean and stuff. So definitely have some of this on hand for your spring clean. It's going to make your life so much easier. This is definitely a go-to. Always have this. I picked up a Flash multi-purpose. This one is the bicarb one with the eucalyptus scent. I find it just smells like the cotton one, but that's okay because it was the cotton one I was looking for anyway, and they didn't have it. All they had was this one and the lavender one, and the lavender one makes me sleepy, so I really wanted to pick up a nice fresh one. This is definitely it. Good for mop buckets, good for putting in spray bottles and using just all over the place, good for general cleaning. Love this stuff, get through it like you wouldn't believe. So I've got a nice big bottle of that. For the bathroom, I have some Viacal lime scale spray. Be careful with this, it really does get in your throat, but it's very, very good for taps and things like that, getting them clean. And the last thing I picked up today was 3 packs. I've picked up 2 here, but 3 packs of new microfiber cloths. With the spring clean, I'm going to be using the old microfiber cloths on this last grubby big deep clean, and then I'll be swapping them out for these guys after I've finished. So 3 packs of new microfiber cloths. I might go and get some more yet because I really do get through them when I clean. I get through like 20, 30 a day when I do a full house clean, so this is not going to be enough. But yeah, some new microfiber cloths. And now I'm just going to switch over and show you the stuff that I've already got on hand, and then we can get started with the cleaning. Okay, so for the stuff that I already have on hand, this is just bits that I'll be using up. Probably I'll use most of this, if not all of this, during this spring clean. So all of this will be gone, and we'll move on to fresh new cleaning stuff this year, because I don't like it sitting around for too long. I find when I've got new cleaning stuff, I want to clean more. And when I've got old stuff that's been sitting around for a while, I'm very unmotivated. So I like to change it out quite frequently. So again, let's start at the beginning. I've got still some Zoflora wipes in the winter spice scent that I need to use up. These will get used up in no time during a spring clean. No problem at all. I have my Fresh Bin powder. That again I want to use up. I've had this for about a year and a half and still it's about here. There's so much still left in here. Right, I'm going to start putting it into the outside bin as well. With the warmer weather coming, I want to try and keep that as fresh as I can. So I've got this. I have a collection of brushes that I use for all sorts of things. This one I use mainly for the floor. This one's good for skirting boards. This one's good for sort of the inside tracks of windows, and this one I just use as a general purpose scrubby for, you know, whatever it's going to fit in properly for, and it's also got the scraper, so I use those for that. I have my Christmas tree scrub mummy. I keep calling it a scrub daddy, but it's a scrub mummy, the Christmas tree one that I am determined to make last until next year. We'll see how it survives a spring clean. These things are amazing though. They get so grubby and you can just throw them in the washing machine and they come out brand new. These things really are worth the investment. They can be a little bit expensive, but honestly they're great. And I love his little happy Christmas tree face. It makes me happy. I have some, just a big pack of general sponge scourers, which are good for like getting mucky and throwing away cleans. They'll be good for the oven, things like that. I have my Dettol all-in-one disinfectant. We've had this since COVID. My husband used to take this to work because he drives lorries, and he would spray it on the steering wheel, on the gear stick and all of that before he drove away, just to make sure he wasn't picking up any bacteria from other drivers. And we still have this. This lasts so long, and I use it for spraying over the bins and things like that when I've given them a deep clean. I have some Mr. Muscle kitchen gel just to pop down the drains, make sure everything's flowing nice and smoothly. I have my Astonish stainless steel shine spray. It's okay. It's not the best in the world, but it's okay, and they're still almost completely full. So I'll be using this on my taps, on my cooker hood, all those places where I've got the stainless steel. I have some basic bleach, which, you know, it's good for a deep clean. I don't really use it for much else. I will occasionally put some into a spray bottle, but I've got plenty of sprays at the minute, so this will just be for the deep clean. This bottle has window cleaning spray in it. You can buy little tablets from Tesco that you just pop into a bottle with water. And honestly, I found the Tesco glass cleaning spray, it's a green one, if you do buy it in the premix bottle, to be the best glass cleaning spray that I have used. It doesn't streak as much as the others, so it's really, really good like that. And then lastly, I have my carpet shampooing stuff. So I have my Vax pre-treatment spray that came with my Hoover. Still have quite a lot of this. And then for the main carpet detergent, I use this one from Amazon. It's significantly cheaper than the Vax Platinum one. It smells better, and I think it does a better job. This one's in the Spring Bloom scent, and it's lovely. And it's good for pets, which is also an added bonus. Okay guys, so starting in the kitchen, I'm going to be using my stainless steel spray. I'm also going to be using my Pink Stuff cream cleaner. I've not used this before, but we're going to give it a go today. I'll be using quite a lot of the elbow grease spray to remove all the gunk. I did pick up a Pink Stuff spray. I wasn't able to get it in the first haul, but I use this a lot. I'll be using my Lemon Zing scented Zoflora diluted in warm water, my Scrub Mummy Christmas tree, my Spontex heavy duty scouring pads. I cut these in half before I use them, a whole bunch of my old microfiber cloths, and of course some yellow marigold gloves. Let's get started. So I'm going to be starting today at the top of the room. This is day one, and we'll be starting with the upper cabinets. So here we are at the beginning, off we go. So I'm going to start by spraying the elbow grease spray on the top of the cabinet. This works to break down all of the grease and grime that has built up there. I do these relatively regularly, but even so you can see just how much is coming off the top of the cabinet. I'm using my Scrub Mummy to give it a good clean. I'm going to wipe all of this stuff off, and then I'm going to come in with the Pink Stuff cream cleaner just to make sure that I've got absolutely everything off of the top here. And I will follow that up with a microfiber cloth, which I have soaked in my dilute Zoflora and warm water mix, just to make sure that I've got any of the paste cleaner off of the top of the cabinet, and leave it smelling lovely. Next up, I'm going to be cleaning the front of the cabinets. Again, this is with just the Zoflora. If I do have any stubborn marks or drips or anything on the cabinets, I will go over it really quickly with my Pink Stuff spray, or my elbow grease if it's a grease stain. But I'm just going over the fronts and the sides of the cabinets. Don't forget underneath, I've taken off my little clip-on lights, which I absolutely love. I love that they're rechargeable. You can take them off, put them on, go around the house with them. I take them up into the loft sometimes as well. and I'm just going round with a Zoflora cloth again and doing all the fronts of the cupboards, the sides, the bases. Make sure they are all nice and clean. Now I'm just going over with a dry glass cloth just to give these a buff and a polish. These are high gloss cabinets, as you can see, and they certainly do mark if you leave stuff on them. They're not too bad most of the time, but as it's a spring clean, I want them absolutely gleaming and shining, so I've gone over them with a glass cloth as well, just to buff. So this is the last of the top cabinets that I'll be doing. I will be doing inside of all the top cabinets very shortly, but I work on the outsides first just to make sure everything's looking nice and clean, and then I'll move inside. So the first cabinet that I'm going to be cleaning inside today is our larder cupboard. It's, well, I say larder cupboard, the cupboard that we store our food in. We don't have a larder cupboard anymore. We used to. I miss it. I really do. And we don't have a pantry either, so all of our dry sort of tinned foods have to go in here, and it's a mess a lot of the time. So I'm going to take everything out today. I'm going to clean inside, and then I'm going to be coming back through the entire house in the same order next month in April. I say next month in April. Next month from now is March, but my March is my spring clean month. So in April I'm going to be going through the whole house and decluttering and reorganising spaces like this so that they function better. We have quite a lot of food in the cupboard that we don't know was there, that we're never going to use, particularly packet mixes and things. So this shelf, as you can see, is where we usually store our tins, and the bottoms of the tins have rusted. This is because of the damp issue and the steam in the kitchen. So I have ordered some shelf liners for the tins to sit on, but they haven't come, unfortunately, when I've been making the video. So we do have to wait for a little bit for those. But for now I'm going through with my pink cream cleaner to get some of the marks off, which was enough for most of it, but I did have to come in with my pink stuff paste to get the last little bits off. As you can see, the pink stuff paste once again works its miracles and gets rid of all of those marks. I think there was one small mark left that even that couldn't get, and I think that's where the rust had actually eaten into the shelves. So next I'm going through with my pink stuff spray, love this stuff, and doing the insides of the doors, around the frame and all of that before I put everything back into the cupboard. So as I'm putting things back, I'm trying to get a vague organisation. When I do deep cleans like this, I do usually end up reorganising things, going out, getting new storage, decluttering, but I really want to focus on just a good spring clean at the moment. So I'm trying to put everything back in kind of like a logical order, but without installing a whole new kind of organisational paradigm in here, which would be crazy and take a lot of time. So I'm putting all of our tins packet mixes on the bottom, all of our sauces, rice and pasta on the centre shelf, and all of like our gravies, stock cubes and sauces at the top. So the next cupboard is going to be the crockery and mugs and things like that. After this video, like literally after I finished filming that day, I went out to Asda and I got a lovely new set of plates. We had very mismatched crockery in this cupboard and it was driving me a little bit crazy. So I went and got some really beautiful green stoneware plates that I do end up putting into this cupboard later. They look a lot better than how I left it on the video. I'm sure you guys will see it soon when I'm doing a new cleaning video. But for now it's again just cleaning the insides of the shelves, popping everything back nice and neat, tidy, and then I'll do the inside of the doors as well, just to make sure that it's all nice and clean. Last of the top cabinets I'll be doing the inside of. This is our baking cupboard. This is a really weird little space, definitely something that I need to spend a bit more time organising. We have lots of different flowers and sugars and spices and things, and it's such a tiny cupboard it can't really hold it all, so I really need to limit what we have in here. But again, that's one for the declutter, not for today. Today it's just to clean and pop everything back. So next up, I'm moving on to the window. I'm using my little Dishmatic with some washing up liquid in the handle with some nice warm water, and then I'm just going over it really quickly with my window vac. Love my window vac. It really has answered a lot of problems for me, and it makes jobs like this so much quicker. So I'm doing the inside of the window first, and then I will head outside and do the outside of the window. I'm also going to use my Zoflora water to clean the inside of the frame and eventually the outside of the frame too, so that it's all nice and clean. The outside particularly was absolutely filthy. We had a whole bunch of spiders move in over the summer. The big, like, I think they're called orb weavers, the great big garden spiders, and they made webs all over the outside of the window, and because I'm not overly comfortable with spiders I didn't want to clean it, but I did do it today. Oh no, I'm using the Pink Stuff spray, sorry, not my Zoflora. Usually I would go around this with my Zoflora, but because I have my Pink Stuff spray I've gone over that with that today. What I tend to do is if I have Pink Stuff spray in the kitchen, I will use that over pretty much everything because I prefer the smell of it. But most of the time all I have is Zoflora, so I've kind of got used to that being Zoflora and not Pink Stuff spray. Either way, it's clean, right? So this is me just going to the outside. I had to wait a little while because my neighbour across the way, you can just see the house, they like to hang out of their top window and just stare into the kitchen, which is why we have the privacy film on the window. It's really, really weird, but I was a bit embarrassed having the camera out so I had to wait for her to go away before I could continue filming this bit. But it got done in the end. I'm hoping one day I'll get braver about filming, but today is not that day. So as you can see, the privacy film in action there, it's got like a mirror effect on the outside, but it still lets plenty of light into the kitchen. Love the stuff. I am looking for a sort of door curtain and blind setup to go in this so that I can film without having the neighbour staring at us. But I'm not really sure how it's going to work because we've just got that gap. It's a whole great gap, so I can't put a blind in because it'd have to go over the door as well. So I'm not really sure how it's going to work, but it's something that I need to address when I go through and do my declutter and reorganise. I definitely want a curtain and a blind on here. So it's now the next day, we're on day 2, and we're moving on to the cupboards, the lower cupboards and the drawers. I appreciate this is a lot of very samey kind of footage, but I wanted it to be very real with you guys. Kitchens take a really, really long time to spring clean. This one took me all week long. I was in here from about 8 o'clock in the morning till about 2 o'clock in the afternoon every single day cleaning. It took a lot. So yeah, I apologise if the footage is a little repetitive and a little boring, but this is real life. This is a real kitchen. We live here, we use it, it gets really mucky and it takes a lot of doing. So I've basically just taken everything out of the drawers and I'm going in, I think, with my Pink Stuff spray and my Scrub Mummy, and I'm just giving the drawers themselves a quick clean and getting all of the crumbs and bits of paper and all the junk that just builds up over time out of the drawers. And then I'll pop everything back again in as much of a logical order as I can manage. So with the outside of the drawers, I'm using my Zoflora again in water. I really love the smell of this Lemon Zing Zoflora. It makes everything smell so fresh and clean and lovely. And alongside the Pink Stuff spray, it just smells so good in the kitchen. I can't really describe what the Pink Stuff spray smells like. I can't really sort of put my finger on what it is, but it's a really nice clean smell. It works really nicely with the Zoflora and just leaves everything smelling beautiful. So like I say, everything's now going back in as logical of an order as I can manage. This is our snack drawer. It is not aesthetically pleasing, but it's a snack drawer and we use it a lot, as you can tell by the size of my waist. I like my snacks. So it is what it is for the time being. I'd love to have one of those beautiful, aesthetically pleasing, organised snack drawers, but I don't think that's realistic. So it's going to be what it is for the time being, and everything just going back in, as you can see. So moving on to the base cupboards, this is the little cupboard by the back door. We store all our long life milk here, our bulk spices and herbs, all of that kind of stuff goes into this tiny cupboard. It's not very deep, it's only about 30 centimetres deep because we have the main line for the water that comes in behind it. So we couldn't have a full depth cupboard here, but it's actually kind of perfect for the long life milk. I'm not a huge fan of long life milk, if I'm perfectly honest. My body doesn't really like it. It kind of makes me feel sluggish, but needs must at the moment. We get through a lot of milk, and it's long life all the way for us at the moment. However, I would like to have this cupboard just for microfiber cloths and tea towels and like oven mitts and things like that. So that might be something that I'll be looking to implement when I do the declutter in April. But for the time being, it's just a case of clean it up, polish it up, and it's all done. So this is my cleaning cupboard. Oh my goodness. Right, my cleaning cupboard is insane. I also have all of my kind of gardening things in here. So all of my plant food, both the outdoor plants, the indoor plants, the roses, the weed killers in there, like absolutely everything garden is in here. But I also have all the sort of dregs of my cleaning stuff that I need to use up in here. I have my laundry stuff in here, I have the cleaning supplies, I have the cloths, I have the oven gloves, I have the car cleaning stuff. Everything is in here. It's always chaos. It always has been chaos. I'm pretty sure it always will be chaos. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to really simplify my cleaning stuff. But I found when I go out to the shops, it just makes me happy to buy the cleaning sprays. As you could tell by the haul at the beginning of this video, I like having all the different sprays, all the different scents, all that stuff, because it motivates me to clean. Whereas if I've just got boring, like I was looking at like all the small bottles and sprays and stuff like that and thinking, oh, do you know, that would be really, really nice to have it, you know, just 3 or 4 bottles in the cupboard and nothing else, and everything would still be able to get clean. But I know myself, and I know I'm going to get bored of it, and I'm going to end up buying a whole bunch of other cleaning products anyway. So I'm going to organise it best I can in April, but I think that cupboard is always going to be a hot mess, unfortunately. So the next cupboard I'm moving on to, as you can tell, I have filmed this on a different day, but I've tried to put them together into a logical order for you so that it makes sense, the kitchen clean. So this is my kind of pans, roasting trays, cereal, bin bag, random cupboard. Again, this one is always a mess. I would like to keep the bin bags in the cleaning cupboard, but at the moment I don't have the space. I'm hoping as I'm going through the spring clean and using up a bunch of stuff that I will have the space to put the bin bags into the cleaning cupboard at the end of this month, and just have this cupboard for like roll wraps, graters, pans and cereal boxes. The cereals are too big to go into our kind of larder cupboard at the top, so they have to live in here, unfortunately. However, you know, the kids are getting to an age where they don't really want cereal anymore, and I'm starting to notice that it's backing up where they're just not eating it. So it might be something that I can reduce down, and we'll move to a different style of breakfast, maybe cooked breakfast, maybe toast, things like that instead of cereals. All these cereals are absolutely packed with sugar anyway, so they're not really good, and if they're not getting eaten, there's no point in having them here. But that's a problem for another day. For the time being, this is all clean, and I'm just trying to put it back as neatly as I can. So the last base unit, this one we use for pretty much just our small appliances and sort of extras and odds and sods and things. So it's mainly small appliances, and I think because the appliances that we have in here are kind of difficult to clean, they're kind of difficult to set up, we don't really use them. So like the food processor we don't really use. I don't think we've used it for a good 9 months. The stand mixer we don't really use. I think the last time I used that I made a meringue, and I ended up just taking the top of it off and just using it as an electric hand whisk instead. So I feel like these are definitely some things that are going to go when I do the declutter. But for the time being, they are just kind of tucked in the back of this cupboard. They get neglected and left behind. I know certain parts of the food processor have started to rust a little, so I think it's going to have to go anyway. So the next stage I'm moving on to now all the cabinets are done is cleaning the small appliances. So the ones I was just talking about, this one is our stand mixer. We bought it, I think maybe a couple of years ago, and it seemed like it was going to be this dream thing that was going to make our lives easier, but my goodness is it a pain to clean. It's a horrible thing to clean. It's got like this flower shaped bit at the bottom where the bowl clips in, and it's horrible to clean. It's not got very much power, so although it comes with the little dough kneading, what they're called, you know, the dough arms, it hasn't got the power to do a dough anyway. So really it's just a whisk, and if it's just a whisk anyway, what's the point in having the base bit? So I mean, I'm cleaning it all anyway. I'm going to put it back into the cupboard and I will deal with it when it comes to declutter time. But I just don't think it was a good buy. I think at the time it seemed brilliant, but it's not serving us. We're certainly not using it. It's just another thing that I have to maintain. So definitely this will be something that will be going. And again, the food processor, there are so many parts to these. There's so many attachments and heads and clips and lids and things that you have to maintain and clean, and they're not an easy clean, so nobody wants to get them out. You end up just chopping things by hand, grating by hand, you know, mixing with the whisk. Again, it's another void object, but for today I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to put it back in the cupboard, and we're gonna, I think what I might do is when I come to declutter, I might pop it into like a storage tote and put it somewhere else and just see if we get it out. I'll give it like 3 months, see if we get it out to use it, and if we don't, it can go. But I'm pretty sure we're not going to. I don't remember the last time this got used. It's been a really, really long time. And like I said, it's just so fiddly to clean. No one wants to use it, even if we do have something like that we're going to do anyway. So I think it's going to go, which will leave us some nice room in the cupboard for something that we will use. I don't know what, but something that we will use, even if we just use that cupboard as like an overstock cupboard for food, like extra food or bulky food like pasta and rice and stuff like that. That would be good too. It would be a better use of the space. It would make our lives easier, and then we wouldn't have this thing to maintain that's constantly dirty. You leave this in the cupboard for a week, somehow it gathers dust in a cupboard. Don't ask me how, it does, and it's a mess. So this is another thing that has served us really, really well over the years, but has kind of fallen out of favour recently. So this is our 4-slice toaster. As you can see, it's done a really good job, but the kids again are now of an age where they're not really having toast for breakfast. I like a bit of toast now and then, but we are getting a new oven soon which has a separate grill, so it's going to become redundant in the very near future. Toasters are those kind of things that, you know, they'll last forever, but you couldn't give them away if you tried. So I don't know what's going to happen to our friend the toaster there. But yeah, it's had a nice clean, and it's been put back in the cupboard, and it's available if we do need it. So the next area that I'm moving on to, this is now day 3, and I'm moving on to the worktops and tiles and all the areas around them. So I've moved everything off the side. I'm going to start by cleaning the tiles. I'm just using the glass spray to do this. Again, they are high gloss tiles, so they do mark, they do show streaks, so the glass cleaner is the easiest thing to use on them. If they were marked with something a bit more heavy duty, I probably would go through with my Dishmatic first and give them a quick scrub with that before going over with the glass spray, but this was fine. Over in this corner they don't really get dirty, so I'm going to use the Dishmatic instead to do the worktops, give them a good scrub. So there is washing up liquid in the handle. I don't know if you can really see it, I'm moving a bit quickly. I had to really speed this up for you guys, I'm sorry, it's just this video would have been so long if I hadn't have really sped it up, so I do apologise if it's going a little bit too quickly for you and it's not quite the aesthetic clean that we all want, but I really needed to get it all into a video and I really didn't want it to be super long. So I've just gone over it with that and I'm just rinsing it off with some warm soapy water and a cloth. And then for an extra little touch I'm going in with the Pink Stuff spray and a cloth that's just got straight water on it. So while I'm over here I'm going to descale the kettle. I hate this kettle. I have no words for how much I hate this kettle. It seemed like a good idea at the time. We have hard water here. It often is kind of unpleasant tasting, and to have a filter on the kettle is wonderful. It stops the water from tasting funny, it stops us from having to descale the kettle every week. It's a really good idea in theory. In practice it's horrible. You can get maybe 3 cups of tea out of each sort of kettle worth of water, but when you fill the reservoir at the top of the kettle it only fills it to about 1/3 of the way, so you have to fill the reservoir 3 times before you can boil the kettle. It is a pain in the neck. We are constantly running backwards and forwards to the tap to get more water to fill the kettle up before we can even boil it and have a cup of tea. So my plan in the future is to have a water filter jug in the fridge that we can put the water in, it can filter through, and then we'll just fill a new kettle from that which has got a bigger capacity and also is a bit more pleasing on the eye. This one to me it's a bit masculine, it's a bit monochrome. I'm not in love with it. I would like something a little bit more traditionally styled, a little bit cuter, a little bit cozier. So yeah, in the future I'm on the lookout for a new kettle and a Brita jug instead. I think that's going to work a lot better. But this thing is also a bit of a pain to clean. Like you can see I've got a kebab stick there because I can't get into the corners of it, and to me that just doesn't feel like it's very hygienic. So yeah, I mean it's clean now. I've put a new filter in, it's ready to go. But yeah, it's something that's definitely going to be going in the near future. So well done Brita, good idea, but we need a bigger capacity and I just don't know how they're going to do it. So yeah, it will be going soon. So I'm just going over the outside with a bit of Pink Stuff spray and a cloth. I do have, as I'm going around, I have a big bowl of warm water that's just clear water, and I'm going over everything that I'm cleaning with that. I noticed a lot of you guys are worried about the soap on things. I don't know anybody here in the UK. I mean there probably are people, but I don't know anybody in the UK that's particularly bothered about rinsing soap off of things. I rinse soap off of glasses and mugs because it can catch in the corner and you can get a taste, and it can also mark things, but we just don't rinse dishes and stuff. I mean I don't know if it's just me and my immediate family or people a bit further afield, but we just don't. We never have. It's never been a problem before. You never taste the washing up liquid, no one's ever got sick, and where things do drain on the draining board, the washing up liquid, the suds run off anyway, and then we dry them with a clean tea towel, so the residue is minimal, if anything. Like I say, you don't taste it or anything. But I did notice quite a lot of you guys asking that question, so there you go. It's never been a thing, but I will make more of an effort in the future, as I don't want to upset anybody, and it, you know, it's just a little step. It's no big deal. I think half the battle for me is trying to get the washing up done and rinsed before the sink fills up. I often have to stop the tap after I've done the mugs because the sink is full, and then I'd have to run a whole new sink to rinse things, and that just seems a bit wasteful water wise when it's not a problem anyway. But I will make more of an effort for you guys. I understand it's obviously a thing, and I don't want to creep any of you guys out and make you feel ill or anything like that, so I will make more of an effort to rinse my dishes in the future. So there you go. So I've just cleaned out the tea, coffee, sugar and biscuit jars. They do get mucky. And now I'm moving on to the air fryer. It's relatively clean in here. It gets cleaned every time I get used, so it's not that big of a deal. I'm just going in with a little bit of spray and cloth. Again, this is the cloth that I use, the clear water, so it is getting a rinse, even though it's not like a thorough sloshing out rinse. It is getting a rinse. And then that will just pop back in the corner again. We don't use this very much. We use it occasionally for kind of meat, jacket potatoes, things like that, but it's not a daily use item, so it's relatively clean most of the time anyway. I just wanted to give it a quick rinse over while I was here. Okay, so now moving on to the main countertop. This is the one we use the most. It's a little small for my liking, but does the job nicely. So I'm going in on the tiles with the glass spray again, just giving them a little clean. Again, this area doesn't get too mucky. It tends to be the bit behind the cooker that gets the splashes on, but that gets... Apologies for the abrupt finish there. I got called away by my husband who can't figure out how to make a rice pudding. So yeah, I'm just going over it with the Dishmatic and then rinsing it over with some water. That's right, rinsing with water, don't panic. It was at this point that I realised that the builders had left the film on the high gloss box that they'd made to go around the pipes for the boiler. So that was a satisfying few moments. I get to pull that off, and it means I didn't have to clean the gunk that was on it, which was nice. I just went over the top real quick, slid it back into place, and voila. So these are the new bowls that I was talking about. I love them, they're gorgeous. So I thought I would clean our little egg hutch. I really like this, but I kind of want it like up on a shelf or wall mounted or something. I don't really like it just kind of sitting on the countertop. So that's something else for the declutter reorganise. Oh my god, it's going to be huge, isn't it? I've just realised how much work is going to have to go into this declutter and reorganise in April. But I really do. I want the kitchen more functional. At the moment it's just a little bit here and there, and yeah, we manage and it's fine, but I would like it a bit more logical, a little bit more user-friendly, and easier to keep clean and maintain for sure. So I would like to get some floating shelves. I'm going to have to sell my husband on the idea because he doesn't like floating shelves, but he also doesn't like brackets, so I don't know what kind of magic I'm going to have to discover in order to have a shelf that's not floating or have brackets, but I will find a way. I can guarantee you I will find a way so that I can have some nice open shelves in my kitchen. I love like gorgeous live edge oak shelves in a kitchen. I think they just look so beautiful, so I definitely want to try and get some of those going on in here. So in the meantime anyway, I'm moving on to my little laundry corner. Let's call it the laundry corner. So this bit does tend to get quite wet. It's not damp for once in this house. It's not actually damp. It's where we have like the draining rack on the draining board, and it's got like an end where you can hook clean cups and things on to dry, and they drip off the edge of the draining board and into this area here where I'm cleaning, but it's not quite level, so it all runs into that back corner. So that back corner is pretty much always wet, which is really, really annoying. I'm wondering if one of those I don't even know what they're called. They're like cloths that you lay down instead of if you haven't got a draining board, like if you one of them places that's just got a sink. I might put one of those underneath my little laundry caddy, but I don't really want to obscure the wood. It's something I'm going to have to try and figure out, but some sort of absorbent something's going to have to go there to deal with the water, otherwise this rack is going to start to rust. It's a concern of mine. I really like this, but it was quite a lot of money and I don't have to buy another one, so I'm going to have to figure it out. But for now, clean, just clean. See, this is how my mind works. This is the problem with me doing deep cleans. I find a million squillion other things that I've got to do every time I clean like a little tiny place, and so I end up doing the million squillion bits and not finishing the main clean. This was really difficult for me just to film a clean for you guys without having to go through everything and reorganize it and declutter it and all this crazy stuff. So I think I did well. I don't think there's too much, but you can tell just by my rambling how anxious I am about everything and having it nice and having it more organized. Yeah, so anyway, back on topic. I'm currently cleaning the deep fat fryer. Another thing I absolutely detest. I hate deep fat fryers. I like chips, I like onion rings, I like chicken nuggets, but I hate deep fat fryers, and I'm too frightened to have a chip pan because have you guys seen them demonstrations that the fire brigade do where they've got this chip pan on fire and they put this tiny little bit of water in it and the whole thing just blows up like a nuclear bomb? Yeah, I don't want a chip pan, but I hate fryers. I mean I've sped this up significantly for you guys, and I did cut the footage short as well because it was running my camera battery down. This took me so long, hours to clean. Even with my elbow grease spray, which is incredible for cutting through grease, even with my heavy duty scourer, even with hot soapy water, everything I could throw at this thing, my glass scraper, everything, it was so difficult to get all the grease off of it. And every time I clean this horrible contraption, I tell everybody, can you wipe it down every time you use it so that the grease doesn't set on it and it's easier to clean? And every single time I say it, everybody ignores me, and it gets a couple of weeks down the line and I've got to clean this blasted thing again. I hate these things with a passion. Horrible things. But until a day when I'm healthier and I don't live off a diet of chips and onion rings and chicken nuggets, it has to stay. I am thinking of buying a different style though. You get the ones that look more like the air fryers, don't you? They tend to have smaller capacities, that's the only problem. We need one with a large capacity. We are a family of 5. And the small capacities on those other ones don't really work out for us, which is why we have one like this. But I'm going to have to get on Google and do some searching and find one that's got a decent capacity but looks more like the air fryer, because this one just releases too much kind of evaporated grease into the kitchen. It's ridiculous. And I don't like how it looks. It looks too industrial for me. It's a very masculine design, and I prefer a more traditional, cozy, cottage kind of feel in my home, and this is not it. This is absolutely not it. So yeah, I'm just scrubbing the heck out of it for now, but I will be heading over and scouring Google tonight to find myself a new one. I don't care how much it costs. I want one that's nice. Another thing though, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but when you're cleaning appliances like this that do get quite grubby, have you noticed that you can't clean them without the paint coming off? Like the little temperature gauge marks. It doesn't matter what you use, even if you're using a soft cloth. Obviously I'm going over this with a scourer, it's coming off like it or not. But even with a soft cloth, if you wipe over these things with hot water, the paint comes off, and then you can't see what temperature it's set to or what time it's set to, depending on what it is you're cleaning. It's something with my oven as well. As I've cleaned around the knobs on the oven, all of those markings have come off as well. Why not just engrave them? Maybe I should write to these people and be like, why don't you just engrave it? so that we can still see after we've cleaned it what temperature it's on. Anyway, rant over. You can continue to watch me clean this horrible, horrible contraption. Okay, so now that is finally done, I get to do a bit of cleanup around the sink because it's now all greasy and covered in grime. So I'm going over it with the Dishmatic just to loosen off the dirt and give it a bit of a clean and get all the loose bits off. And then I'm going to go through and polish it with my stainless steel spray. Doesn't that look better? So much better. Okay, so we are now on to the next day. I've lost track of where we are. Day 3, day 4, I don't know. It feels like I've been cleaning this kitchen forever at this point. I am so fed up, I can tell you. I am just done spring cleaning this kitchen. I wanted to start with the hardest room because I knew that by the end of the spring clean I would not have the motivation to do this room. So I've started in here, but let me tell you, a week was not long enough. I gave myself a week to film and clean this kitchen everywhere. I still didn't get half the stuff done that I wanted to. I wanted to move all the appliances out and clean behind them, didn't get that done. So many things. I wanted to clean the walls, didn't get that done. Wanted to clean the ceiling and the light, didn't get that done. Wanted to touch up the paint, didn't get that done. But I got the main stuff done. So today, day 67,000, is the day of cleaning the large appliances. Now, I did the washing machine a couple of weeks ago. That is a short on my channel if you want to see that. So at least I don't have to do the washing machine today, but I do have to do the oven. We all know how I feel about cleaning the oven. I'd rather buy a new one. Honestly, if I had the money, I would buy a new one. I need to look into getting a professional in every month to clean my oven. I'd rather pay somebody £100. I don't know how much it costs to have someone clean your oven, but I'd rather just pay someone to do it and have a decent job done, because it doesn't matter how in depth I go with this oven, it's never clean, never like properly clean. It always looks grubby. It's an old oven anyway. It's got to be 11-12 years old by now. It's looking rough around the edges. I don't know if it can be saved, but you know, I'll do what I can. So I've used my oven, what was it, the elbow grease oven cleaner, just to soak it for the time being. And while that's soaking, I have moved on to the fridge. So first off, I'm going to take everything out of here. I'm going to bin the stuff that is looking rough or is past its use by. There's always something in this fridge. It doesn't matter how vigilant you are, there's always something in the fridge that's past its use by and you haven't noticed. So I'm going to throw all those bits away, clear it all out, take the shelves out, take the door shelves out, give them a good clean, and clean the inside and make it all nice and fresh, ready for another month of use. I tend to do my fridge every month. I don't just do it in the deep cleans. Sometimes it needs doing a little bit more often, but I found that monthly works about right for us. What I'll do is, if something is spilled in the meantime, I will just clean that shelf that it's on, and then just pop it back and do a monthly clean on it. I would like to do it weekly. I think that's probably the absolute best you can do with your fridge, is to clean it weekly, but I don't know any people that have got time for a weekly fridge clean. Certainly not me. So monthly it is. So I'm going in just with warm soapy water and my scrub mummy, and I'm giving it a good scrub. You can't really see, but there were quite a lot of crumbs and marks and drips and things in here. So I've got all those off, and now I'm rinsing it with some just clear water and a cloth, clearing out that little, I don't know, little drain hole. I do wonder where it goes, all the moisture that goes into there. Am I supposed to be emptying it somewhere? Let me know, guys. And then just going around the door, the seals, all the little cracks and crevices, of which there are thousands apparently in a fridge. and making sure that all the gunk and crumbs and all sorts, you get everything in this fridge, are all out, and it's ready and clean for a new month. And over to the sink we go with the shelves, hot soapy water, Scrub Mummy again. I will rinse these, do not panic. At the moment I'm leaving them to drain on the rack because that gets most of the soap off, but I will rinse them before they go back in the fridge. I'm sorry, I don't mean to tease, but it's honestly, it's something that I never thought would be a thing. Never thought it would be a thing. And now I'm so paranoid about it. I really don't want you guys to think that I'm leaving soap on things. Even though I always have done. Anyway, let's not get into that again. It's just madness to me. But yeah, all of this does get rinsed off, I promise. And now it's just a case of chucking everything back in. Again, trying to go for a logical order, trying to put the meat on the bottom, cheese and butter on the top, all my drinkies and good stuff in the middle. Seems to work. So I chose this day to do the fridge because it's the day before we do the big shop. And it makes sense to go through everything and make sure that all the old stuff is gone and we have space for all the new stuff. Worked out perfectly. We went and did the shop the next day and it was perfect. So next up we have the microwave. I apologise for the obscured view for a lot of this. There's nowhere I can really put my camera where you can see into the microwave where I'm not in the way. So you'll just have to, you forgive me for that, I'm afraid. So I'm just going through that with some, I think it was pink stuff spray, it might have been elbow grease, but just getting all the marks off. Again, it just gets done very regularly anyway, so it's not really a thing. And then I'm just going through with some clear water, just rinsing all of that off, polishing it up, making sure I've got everything. And now it's back to the oven. So I had a break between doing the fridge and the microwave and doing this. So it's been sat for probably about 3 or 4 hours with the, I wanted to say Oven Pride then, with the elbow grease oven cleaner on it. This mat is like a silicone oven liner. We put it in the bottom of the oven just to stop all of the crumbs and grease and stuff dripping onto the bottom of the oven because it's a nightmare to get off from there. And today it decided it was going to be a nightmare to get off from here as well. Usually it comes off super easily. I don't really understand why it wasn't going to today. So I went over it with my Scrub Mummy, and then I went over it with my glass scraper, and then I went over it with, I think it was my Dishmatic as well, and finally got it vaguely clean. Next up were the racks. So I took these out of the bag that had the elbow grease in and went over them with my heavy duty scourers. Just did one little bar at a time. These are not going to come out perfect, guys. These are really old. These are as old as the oven, and they certainly are showing their age, but I can get most of it off. It's really just where the bars meet the ends that it's too awkward to get into. I was thinking about getting a wire brush, but I don't want to damage them. So it is what it is for now. Like I say, we're getting a new oven soon anyway, so I'm not too concerned with these being perfect, much as I would love to have them perfect. They didn't come out that way. So this is where I discovered that I don't like the elbow grease oven cleaner. I'm not really sure what happened. I put it into the oven to soak, and it basically turned into water in the bottom of the oven. It all just dripped down and it was as thin as water. The Oven Pride stuff tends to stay more like a gel. But it was literally water, and it was dripping all through the bottom of the oven into the plate warming rack underneath. It got onto my floor. I was really worried that it was going to damage my floor, because it's just vinyl, it's not actually wood. And it was a bit of a nightmare. It was just going everywhere. I won't be using it again. It didn't also do as good of a job of actually cleaning the oven as the Oven Pride usually does. I don't know if it's just because I've got the oven clean to a point where it won't get any cleaner, but it just didn't seem to bring that much off. I was quite disappointed with it, if I'm honest. Much as I love the elbow grease spray, the oven cleaner just did not do it for me. Didn't do it for me at all. As you can see, I've just pulled out it's supposed to be a plate warmer, but we store all our like very rare use trays and stuff in here, and it gets mucky down there. I will do that as well in a minute. But yeah, I was so unimpressed, but so glad that the oven's done at least. I can't wait for the new one. I'm going to be so much better with it, I promise. I'm going to clean it every week, and it's going to be lovely. So the new oven that we are looking at is a gas one. It's a double oven, so we've got like a grill oven and then a main oven. It's going to be really, really nice. And it has the detachable bars at the side, so I can actually take the side bars out and clean them properly. So now I'm moving on to the inside of the oven door, which I've taken off, sprayed with elbow grease spray, which usually releases the grease, but today, I don't know, I wasn't having it, not even with my glass scraper. So I ended up going over it with the scouring pad, and that got it off a dream. I don't know if my glass scraper is just blunt, perhaps, and that's what the problem is. But the scouring pad did a good job, the elbow grease did a good job, and I managed to get it all done. I've sped it up to pretty much light speed, because this took quite a long time, even though it was coming off easy. There's just so much to do. So apologies if it's a bit too fast for you, but you get the gist. I'm going over it with the scourer and the elbow grease spray. Every time the elbow grease runs out, I'm just topping up a little bit, and it did a really good job and got it all clean. And I'll turn it over and do the other side, give it a rinse, and it's ready to go back in the oven. And now onto the main door itself. It didn't need much, just a quick once over. It doesn't get particularly grubby. It's quite good really. I would rather not have to take it off to do it, but you do get the better clean that way. So again, it was just a bit of elbow grease spray and a cloth, and that was done. Oven complete. Next job was the radiator, which I do know how to get those bits off, but for some reason the kitchen radiator is so stiff they don't come off. So I managed to manipulate the grate at the top off, which was the bit that I wanted off anyway, so that I could dust inside the top of the radiator, and then I moved down to the front of it. I need to respray this at some point. We've had them in for about 3 years, and they're all looking really, really good except for this one. This one got a bunch of stuff lent up against it, and it's made marks on it, so I need to kind of sand it if I can and then respray it. I don't think you can even see it in the video. I'm looking now, I can't see it, but there's lots of marks on the front of it. But I know that it's clean, I know that it's dusted. It's just one more thing that's done. We're getting so close to the end. So close, guys. Well done if you've stayed with me this long. Like I say, this was a mammoth clean, and it wasn't even like 2/3 of what I wanted to get done. But it's enough, it's enough. So I'm just currently doing the skirting boards with some pink stuff spray and a cloth. And then I'm going to go around and do all of the kickboards, baseboards, whatever you want to call them, underneath the cabinets, because I didn't do those when I was doing the cabinets themselves. I did overlook them, and I'm just going to get them done with a bit of pink spray as well. And then finally we will be on to the floor. Finally, the last part of this kitchen clean will be done. So I've cleared everything off the floor. I'm just going through with my big broom and getting all of the main bits of stuff up. I'm changing out my broom I think I'm going to be weak, and I think I'm going to buy that viral one on TikTok. It's got the squeegee on the other side. It looks so good. I don't want to be one of them people that just buys everything they see on TikTok. However, it does look really, really good. Have any of you guys got that? If you have, please let me know if it's actually good or if it's just good for the video of the people who are selling them. But I really want to upgrade my broom. That's a very basic, very old broom. It does the job, but I would prefer it if I could get a good scrub with it. So I'm just sweeping up all of the bits and bobs into my dustpan and brush, and then I'm going to move on to actually scrubbing the floor. So today is going to be a hands and knees scrub on the floor. I have that Flash bicarb in some water. I have my scrubby brush, and I'm just going to go through it on my hands and knees, and I'm going to scrub this floor. Once it's been scrubbed, I'm going to go over it with a cloth and just clean up the excess water as I go. It's a bit of a long job, but I like a scrub clean on the floor. It feels good. I feel like I've got everything up, nothing's missing. I'm not just moving stuff around with my mop. It feels like a better clean. So I'm glad that I got this done. And I'm very glad in this case that it's a small room. Okay, so that's going to be it for the kitchen spring clean this year, guys. Thank you so much if you have stayed with me to the end of this video. It means so much to me as a baby channel to have the watch time from people like you who have made it to the end, and I really, really appreciate your support. If you do want to support the channel financially, I do have a Buy Me a Virtual Coffee button, which is just to help me keep the channel going, help keep the camera functioning, the editing software running, all of that. It's absolutely voluntary. I'm not asking anybody to, but if you do want to support the channel, there is a link. It will be in the description, and it's also on my main page. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I will see you in the next spring clean video, which should be the lounge. See you next time, guys. Thank you so much. Bye.